Kamala Harris voters, I'm going to make you feel good and understand what's really going on. Pay attention, my fellow liberals and leftists. It is July 8th, Tuesday, 2025. We're in the 25th week of Trump. Do you know what narrative warfare is? I'm going to introduce it to you when you come in my group. Get in my group, get in my clarity group, get in the descriptions, join the group, or go over to my homepage on this channel and listen. Stop playing. You worried about this bill? You worried about Medicaid, Medicare, your benefits? Join this group. I'm going to tell you right now, the whole idea behind narrative warfare is that Trump wants, the wealthiest place Trump has is the real estate in your head. He wants to emotionally control and be relevant. Even Ezra Klein over in New York Times opinion, he said, listen, the biggest thing we can do is ignore this guy. And I don't mean ignore what he's doing, but focus on what matters most. This very week, we're dealing with Trump administration trying to cut out everything they made a law. They're also trying to cut out the weather services when we just had this weekend where these little girls have died over in Texas. They are trying to take this out. And what I'm saying to you is to keep strong, hold on, and understand. We've already had our first judge take this on. I gave you an equation. 94, 50, 677. 94 districts across 50 states, 677 judges. Now, not all of them in lower court, but understand there's a civil war going on where you got the upper court, Supreme Court, and you got the lower courts, and the lower courts ain't having it. That's where Trump's getting his assets kicked. And what I'm saying to you is hold tight as they challenge this. Who's going to challenge it? Same ones challenged it for the last 25 weeks. And I'm going to talk about this tonight in the Clarity Group. It's about the psycho tactics he's doing. Netanyahu said he's going to nominate Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize when the World Court Order is trying to put him in jail. That's like one gangster referring to another saying, that's a great guy, totally safe. What I want you to understand is that this guy, Donald Trump, has a history of messing everything up. Buildings, casinos, and his first term. People went to jail behind his first term. There are people in this administration going to jail. All we got to do is do a war of attrition. And I know it's tiring, is stressful, but understand the anxiety, and the anger can turn into assessment. The stress can turn into strategy. Yeah, he's coming for us. He's been coming for us. But guess what? There are people fighting back. So who's fighting back again? 23 governors and attorney generals, the ACLU and other nonprofits, and the lower courts themselves. How do we know the lower courts are going to fight back? Because they just did in Planned Parenthood. Judge just said boom and shut it down. We're in a battle. And in some cases, yes, state by state. But we're in a battle. And the battle's going to continue to go. The good news is this. They have a court record right now, and most people, nobody on the left is talking about this except for me. They have a court record of 13 in 98. Think about that for a minute. 13 in 98. Out of 111 cases, there's 98 of them they've lost. That means in temporary injunctions, permanent injunctions, and court rulings. Nobody's covered that. What happened? Where'd it go? Seriously. It is large. It is massive. And that's why he went after Supreme Court for national injunctions. That's why he went after them. But what he doesn't realize is that when you break it up into these states, that don't mean that the lower court judges stop judging against you. And yes, there are judges in Texas and Florida and other red states that will do that too. Like I said earlier, we have Bush, Reagan, and Trump appointed judges that have ruled against them in the last 25 weeks. They're willing to come out them corners and fight. We got a fight on our hands. It's rough. It's ugly. But here's the good news again, Kamala Harris voters. His track record, not only with the courts 13 and 98, but his track record of building over the last 40 years has proven that we got good shots. That's why he's coming out with 50 different, he's coming out with 50. He's coming out with, 150 executive orders. Yeah. He's tyranny with a time clock because he knows he has a time clock. That's why he's sprinting in a marathon race. And that's why I'm telling all of you, chill. Watch who fights back. Chill. Do what you can to support the state, county, and your local Democrats. The National Democratic Party, Act Blue and all of them, been raising tons of money, 10 times the money since this election. They got the money. What ticks me off is how they cry in their emails. We don't have money. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. It's the ACLU. It's the governors and attorney generals. It's indivisible.org. Those are the ones you should be pouring your money into, both the national ACLU indivisibles and the local groups. They got local groups right there in your towns, counties, parishes. Get into them. Get into your local politicians, even though you may not like them, but stand with them. Here in Chicago, we got Brandon Johnson. A lot of people got problems with him. But I told people, listen, and I got some problems with him. But the thing is stick with him versus against Trump. He's talking about he's going to arrest ICE agents. Hey, my point is, and it's a very clear point, and that is that what we must do is go forward and be patient and be prepared for the long fight. I've also said something, if you look under my channel, about investigations. Yes, there are investigations happening with Trump. I've done several videos in this channel about it. All right? It's happening. But it takes time. And it's not something that can be immediately revealed and just put out there like that. It just can't happen. All right? You got to be patient. You got to be patient. You got to be patient. We're going to make it through this. Understand this. Get in my group. Tonight you'll hear me talk about the psycho tactics. What's going on? Join the family. It's only $20, the size of a large pizza. I got a yearly deal going on. July deal, which is $100 for the year. It's totally worth it. You won't hear this on CNN, The Hill, Politico, Axiom. You won't hear this on MSNBC. You certainly won't hear it on Fox. We're talking about assessment versus news. Anybody can have news, but not everybody can have assessment. Realize what I've just said to you. There's some things I can't say because social media flags me when I talk about things like the election, which I talk about all the time in the group. And I have 3 lives a week. They're recorded. Most are. Sometimes I have off-the-record recordings. Every month I have 1 or 2. Then there are some other really interesting things I talk about, trainings-wise. Plus, you can reach me 24/7 via email. I'm going to hit you back with concerns. I've addressed everybody from current federal employees who are worried about losing their jobs to people who are worried about losing their Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. There are people who are immigrants who are concerned about their safety. I've given them advice about getting a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm telling them, I'm like, listen, you need to get a lawyer. Do not walk into that situation without legal representation, advice. I'm not a lawyer. I grew up with one for almost 50 years, but I'll tell you what you need to know. Is it something you need to worry about? Yeah, I'll let you know. People have even asked me some very deep questions regarding violence, and I've addressed that in a very kind way and wise way. I'm never encouraging anybody for violence ever, ever, even towards our presidency or vice president. No, let's not do that. No, we're better people and we're going to find a better way. And we're winning. We're winning. It doesn't feel like it. That's the psychology he puts on people. Makes you think he's winning when he's not.